The Lantern of the Lost Night. In the quiet village of Evergreen, nestled in a valley where the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, there was a secret that no one dared speak of until the night of the harvest moon, when the lantern would appear. Every year, on the night of the harvest moon, the village gathered to celebrate the bounty of the land. The harvests were plentiful, and the air was filled with the smell of freshly baked bread, roasted chestnuts, and apple cider. The festival was the highlight of the year, but there was always one tradition that everyone whispered about in hushed tones: the appearance of the Lantern of the Lost Night. The lantern was said to be a magical light that would appear at the edge of the forest at midnight. It was not like any ordinary lantern. Its light shimmered with the glow of 1,000 stars, and it was said that anyone who followed the lantern would be granted one wish. But there was a catch. The lantern could only be seen by those who had lost something in their life, whether it was a dream, a loved one, or a piece of themselves, and were brave enough to seek it. Leah, a young girl with a heart full of wonder, had always heard the legends of the Lantern of the Lost Night. Her grandmother had told her stories of the lantern's magic and the people who had followed it to find what they had lost. Leah's own heart had felt a little empty ever since her father left the village to seek adventure in distant lands. He had promised to return, but the years had passed, and he never came back. Her mother often spoke of him with a sadness that Leah couldn't quite understand. This year, as the harvest moon rose high in the sky, Leah decided that she would find the Lantern of the Lost Night. She didn't know if it would help her find her father or heal the loneliness she felt in her heart, but she was determined to try. As midnight approached, Leah slipped quietly out of her home, her heart beating with anticipation. The village was asleep, and the air was crisp with the scent of autumn. She made her way toward the edge of the forest, where the lantern was said to appear. The trees were silent, their leaves rustling softly in the night breeze, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. When Leah reached the clearing, she stopped and gazed into the darkness, waiting. For a long moment, nothing happened. But then, as if answering her unspoken wish, a soft glow appeared in the distance. It flickered like a candle, then grew brighter, casting long shadows across the clearing. The Lantern of the Lost Night had appeared. Leah's heart raced as she stepped forward, following the lantern's light. The lantern floated just out of reach, guiding her deeper into the forest. The path was winding, and the trees seemed to close in around her, their branches reaching toward the sky. But no matter how far she walked, the lantern never got any closer. "Why won't you let me catch you?" Leah called softly to the lantern, her voice filled with both wonder and frustration. "What do you want me to find?" To her surprise, the lantern's light seemed to flicker, as though it were listening. And then, in the stillness of the forest, a soft voice echoed around her, gentle, like the wind through the trees. "You seek what is lost, child, but the path to find it is not one of distance. It is a journey of the heart." Leah stopped in her tracks, puzzled. "A journey of the heart?" she whispered. "What does that mean?" The voice replied, "The lantern does not show you what you have lost. It shows you what you are ready to find. You must look within yourself to understand what you seek. Only then will you know where the light is leading you." Leah thought for a moment. She closed her eyes, feeling the stillness of the night surround her. She thought of her father, of the dreams they had shared, and of the empty space in her heart where his absence had left a mark. The pain of missing him, of not knowing if he was alive or where he was, had weighed on her for so long. But now, standing here in the quiet forest, she realized something important. The lantern was not just showing her the way to find her father, it was showing her the way to find peace within herself. "I want to be at peace," she whispered. "I want to understand why he left, and why I've carried this sorrow for so long." As she spoke these words, the lantern's light grew brighter. It floated toward her, its glow warm and gentle, as if embracing her. The forest around her seemed to come alive, the trees whispering in a language only the heart could understand. And in that moment, Leah felt a deep sense of calm wash over her. She knew that her father's absence did not define her. She could carry the love she had for him without the pain of longing, and she could move forward with a heart full of hope. The lantern flickered one last time, and then slowly began to fade, its light dissolving into the night sky. But Leah felt no sadness. Instead, she felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. When Leah returned to the village, the first light of dawn was beginning to appear. She didn't know if she would ever see the lantern of the lost night again, but she knew that the journey it had led her on was one she would never forget. She had found the peace she sought, not in the lantern or in her father's return, but within herself. And from that night forward, every year, when the harvest moon rose high in the sky, Leah would remember the lantern's light, knowing that the journey of the heart was one that could always guide her, no matter where life's path might lead. The end.